Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts here. That's the Gaming Saloon for November 9th, 2024, with your host, Peacemaker2448. I'm wrapping up. Salon.
Hi.
It's a weird hodgepodge news week, folks. But yeah, I guess before we get into any of that, Tommy, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Well, it's not really been the last couple of weeks. More been like the last couple of days. So I've decided to pick up 2 more games on the Switch.
Ooh.
Honestly, I feel like I'm probably gonna wind up favoring one more than the other. But I got Princess Peach Showtime and Echoes of Wisdom.
The double Zelda. The double princess, my bad. Not the double Zelda.
Double Zelda.
The double.
But yeah. Oddly enough, I feel like this is kind of what I would like out of a Zelda game going forward.
Basically,
not just swing sword and hope for the best, but actually you have to be creative on how you're defeating enemies and progressing.
Everything I seemed like it was just like, hey, take all the lessons we learned from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, apply them to top-down 2D Zelda. That is Echoes.
Not really. It is still kind of following the format of how, truthfully, how Link to the Past kind of set up.
Yeah.
But it's doing it in more of a puzzle aspect that they kind of almost feel like they kind of wound up reinventing with Breath of the Wild as far as the puzzle side of it.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes a step further because, yeah, combat, it's not just grab an enemy and chuck it at them until they die kind of deal. You actually have to kind of think. Because you've got certain advantages based off of which previous enemy you've encountered to throw out.
You have a lock on in that game, right? And that kind of like steers your summons.
You have a lock on, but it don't really have to be used for it, though.
Okay.
Also, I've got to love the fact that Nintendo loves to keep putting ways to be like, hey, quit being a speedrunner. So, the spin that Zelda can do is in fact faster than walking.
Of course.
There's a point where you're supposed to follow one of the NPCs, and if you get so far ahead, the game straight up says, yeah, no, we're going together, and it moves you back to where that NPC was. I'm like, oh, really? We're gonna do that?
This is not Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. You can't just go and fight the boss minute 1. Get back here.
It wasn't even that, it was
game.
just pushing forward on the story too quick, and it's like, really? But yeah, I'm enjoying it. Princess Peach Showtime, I feel like is a good... I feel like it's a good short fill game kind of deal.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope that was what they were aiming for with it.
I played the demo of it back when they put out the demo. It felt like the perfect... You have never played a platformer or an action game before. here is your first platformer indoor action game ever. Because it's very basic, very simple. Everything is like, what, 2 buttons basically?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is perfect.
That's why I'm like, I hope that's what they mean for that. For it to be that. I want to say simple, but it kind of isn't. It almost puts me in a mindset of how Kirby games usually will do.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, especially with all the different like clothing job system, basically, it does have that bird of Kirby in it.
Maybe that's why I kind of feel like it's a good short form game kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. I also think it's just not that very long. I think it's like maybe 10 hours, I'm going to say, without looking at how long to beat initially.
Most Kirby games are like in that same area too.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
7.5. Completionist is 20 actually. I'm guessing that's 20 because you have to find all the little star bit, whatever it's called in this game.
Except for, I don't know, that might be high end. Unless some of them start getting like super hidden, I'm not really going through normal and hitting stuff that I'm figuring probably will be.
Mm-hmm.
I've not really put that much extra time into the levels.
I know I missed one in the demo, right at the start of the level. I wasn't sure where it was. I didn't go back and try to find it, but I know just casually going through, I missed one.
And I can honestly say this, I've not had to make a third pass through a level. Second pass is all that I've needed, and then I'll find it the second time. So, 20 might be a little too much.
Probably. Unless there's surprise challenge levels.
That's the only other thing I can think of. But yeah, outside of that, not really much else.
I've done Zenless's new story content. It's one of their more like shorter stopgap. Like, here's basically a side story with a group of characters kind of stories. Basically, you're following a special operations team that take out hollows and stuff that the various people in the city like maybe a bit too much. Like, they have fanboys and fangirls. But basically, the hacker from the start of the game that we framed for being us has decided to try to get rid of them, and it fails miserably for them. And that's basically the summation of the story. There's not a whole lot to it, but like I said, it's a stopgap story. Besides that, it's not been much else. I thankfully have part-time work for now, I will say, because I'm not sure how temporary it is considering what it is and the timing of the year. It feels temporary, but we'll see. Check back in 2 months, well, probably 3 months, and we'll see if I still have the job. Because I feel like it would, if it was temporary, it would last until like January. Or through January, at least. Yeah, that's about it. I don't think I talked about this on stream. I mapped out, at least for all the streams outside of what's like the rest of the year, basically, all of 2024 streams that we've done, uploading them to YouTube. I don't know how restricted in terms of just hitting the button on everything for uploading from Twitch to YouTube is. I don't know if after a certain point they're like, stop it, you can't do any more. But I have it plotted out at the moment. It's like 2 streams a day every day basically until it's all done, and that is like 3 months, surprisingly. And I assume I have it all mapped out correctly. Because I've also tagged everything as what it is in terms of like the main thing, like TGS, rampant gaming, all that, and then I have like it's sub listed. It's not color coded for that, but it is color coded for the main thing. But I have it sub listed as, well, if it's weekly co-op, if it's Halo, or if it's weekly co-op and it's Sonic, or weekly co-op and it's us doing Fortnite, or when we were doing an Archipelago, or when we did the KH2 randomizer, or Fortnite and the like, and or like the series of Destiny 2 streams we've done recently. I'll throw you the link so you have it just to see it. But yeah, I'm still deciding on how best to do it in terms of uploads. It might end up being per series, maybe, outside of maybe the podcasts. I might let those be weekly, but some of our podcasts end up fairly short, so I maybe don't mind putting those out daily. Especially since it's all archival stuff. Like, people can just, like, queue it up and just leave it. But I want to map out all of the 2023 stuff from where it's left off on YouTube. So at least the last couple years are up on YouTube. I think if I go back further than that, I might just go back to series stuff then. Like, any of my solo stuff in any of our podcasts will go up from there. And any specific series stuff we were doing back then will go up. But I think if anything random from back then, we'll probably just stay on Twitch for now. Maybe. Or at least that won't be the priority. I don't know. This is all just an idea at the moment of something I want to do starting next year. Don't know if you have any ideas or input at the moment.
At the moment, not really. But I also would need to sit down and look a little more in depth.
Fair. Thankfully, I was able to just copy the titles from the highlights list and put them into the document. Granted, I had to delete a whole bunch of cells to get rid of some of the excess stuff, so it made it like making the list easier. But still, it took a while. But right now, it's like reverse chronological order from like the latest to the oldest. Just because that's how the highlights list is. So it makes it easier. But yeah, I'll probably chip away at like getting the 2023 list in the next few days or so, just so that's there, and then sometime like later in December, probably, or later this month, probably, like start trying to get everything uploaded. Because I think if I can get everything uploaded and then just like, all right, schedule everything, I just leave it alone and just everything just goes out accordingly from there. The hard part is just getting everything up there and then sorted and in the playlist so that when it just goes out, it's all the work's done. But yeah, that is it. Anything else before we hit news then?
No.
Alright then. It's time for a legal update. So, thanks to Pocket Pair for sharing these details. We now have concrete details on the lawsuit Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have filed against them in the Tokyo District Court. So, the target patents are these 3 patents with series of numbers and stuff. those are definitely not the patent. Are these the patents? I believe one of the patents was for throwing an object at a creature and capturing them in it in a 3D environment. Yeah, I think Google's pulling up the wrong patents when I click the links. But the main thing is, Nintendo is looking for an injunction against Pal World, 5 million yen in late payment damages to the Pokemon Company, and then 5 million yen in late payment damages to Nintendo. And that is basically the details. How do you feel now that we know specifics?
I mean, patents are always the odd thing, so I'm sure there's some kind of loophole.
Probably.
For either side.
I'm just like, yep, Nintendo is suing Pal World over this video game that I'm pretty sure is not even that big of a deal anymore. But yeah, that is your update. In other news, other not surprising news, on Twitter after the shareholders meeting, it was announced that the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with Switch 1 games. No other specifics were given, just that, hey, Switch 2 games will work, or Switch 1 games will work on Switch 2. Nintendo Switch Online will work on Switch 2. That's it. That's the whole news. How do you feel?
I mean, we kind of knew that already.
Fair. If this was not going to happen, I would honestly have been shocked. I feel like if they didn't have it be backwards compatible, that would have like kicked the Switch 2 directly in the knees before it even got out the door. But since, hey, here is Switch 2, you have all your Switch 1 games on there. That's great. That's fantastic. That means everybody who's been building a Switch 1 library can just go, oh, hey, cool, I can just get a Switch 2 and maybe get an improvement on everything. Maybe. That has been the big hope I've been seeing, is that, like, the Switch 2 will run Switch 1 games better, which...
Maybe.
That feels like a hope, but that entirely depends on, you know, if they put out patches and stuff for everything to, like, let it tap into all the extra power the Switch 2 has based off what we know about the Switch 2 in terms of specs and stuff. So yeah, anything else?
No.
All right, then. As of today, on the Steam Workshop, you can get the Halo 2 E3 2003 demo. They have basically recreated the demo, I believe. Hopefully it does not, like, brick itself. Because they've talked about this in interviews. There's a segment where you're driving a tank down a road. If that tank goes onto the sidewalk at all, crash. Just straight to crash. It was a barely held together demo, and this was the first public outing of Halo 2. But for Halo 2's anniversary, this is now a thing on the Steam Workshop. I guess I will go grab it at some point, and I can probably stream it, because why not? Any thoughts?
Besides the fact that I kind of want to try it too, no.
All right. In adaptation news, Mass Effect is getting a TV series. Let's see. Daniel Casey, known for Fast and Furious 9, will apparently be writing it. EA's Michael Gamble will be an executive producer. Amazon MGM will be doing this, so I guess this will be an Amazon Prime series. Nothing else, no specific details on what this is. I can't wait for it to be boring, and it's like, here is an attempted adaptation of Mass Effect 1, and we've went male shepherd instead of femme shep, which is what everyone would probably want for an adaptation. That, or they somehow put both in there, and it'll be really weird and dumb. I don't know. How do you feel? I take the silence as no.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is just going to end badly.
I can tell you this much: the Yakuza series that went out is it was certainly something by the end, and I would suggest everyone that maybe you just watch one episode of it, and if you vibe with it, go ahead, sure. If you don't, probably stay away because it's not good. But anywho, next up, we have a price tag on Arcane. So Riot spent $250 million for both seasons of Arcane to be produced. This puts it at the highest budget for an animated series ever. Technically, before this, apparently DreamWorks' Father of the Pride for NBC was the highest, costing about $2 to $2.5 million per episode. And that put it at $30 to $45 million back in 2004. It does not top the most expensive TV series in general, or no, it actually tops the most highest TV series in general, which was The Acolyte, which had a budget of $231 million. That's a Star Wars thing for those curious. It was not a good Star Wars thing. Apparently part of this is because of the French studio Fortiche that does this, because they cost a pretty penny for their work. So yeah, how do you feel about Arcane costing a $250 million?
I feel like that's accurate.
Yeah, it is very pretty.
Yeah.
I forgot that apparently maybe the first 3 episodes of the second season are out right now.
Yep, they are.
I guess I have not watched them.
I watched the first one.
I guess through Twitch of some sort.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Because I will have to go through other means to watch the series, because I don't have Netflix anymore. So yar har me hardy har, away I go to watch the rest of Arcane. But any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then, since we were playing Fortnite earlier, a big rumor has come out for Fortnite related to the Game Awards. So at the Game Awards, and this is corroborated by like 2 different major leakers for Fortnite, there will be a monthly rotation of chapter 1 seasons, basically. And this is expected to be announced at the Game Award. It'll be the original loot for chapter 1, seasons 1 through 10, It'll be a monthly rotation of the seasons, and there will be build and zero build support for both of these. But I guess this is our first, I guess, map rotation, essentially, in Fortnite, because we've never had that before. How do you feel?
I think it'll be interesting, but I also feel like they're only doing this because the last time.
I feel like Rebuild may have spurred this on some and was maybe a testing ground for the idea of here is basically Fortnite, but a side mode. And now they're like, hey, here's the season 1 or the chapter 1 map in all of its variations that will rotate out monthly. But yeah, it's neat and interesting, and we'll find out next month at the Game Awards. Hooray! I guess this is +1 for the Game Awards preemptively in terms of interesting things that will be talked about. I'll to be honest, I am not expecting a whole lot from the Game Awards. I'm pretty sure what last year and the year before were like duds basically in terms of major announcements. Because I feel I distinctly remember last year being a dud. I want to say a year before was a dud as well, but I don't remember specifics. But yeah. Move on to our last article.
Yeah.
All right, last up. Concord is dead. Firewalk alongside I can find their name. They're a mobile developer under Sony. I can't find them in the article. Ah, there it is. Neon Koi have been shut down. Which pretty much makes Concord dead. There was speculation it would be coming back because there's some Steam stuff that popped up, but I guess that's not happening anymore. So, goodbye, Concord, forever. You will not be missed in the shallow grave Sony buried you in. I remind you, they spent a lot of money on Concord and on this developer to acquire them. And then all of this happened. So how do you feel?
I mean, one of the shortest things to come out of PlayStation in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah, I didn't grab it. I think like some other higher up from Sony came into Sony and looked at like their profit margins for like their console and game stuff and saw that it was terrible. I think it was like 6%, which Nintendo has far higher margins for reference. And went, that's not good. We need to fix that now. And this might also mean that like Jim Ryan is gone, since this was partially his baby. Anywho, anything else before we get releases?
No.
All right then, releases for the next couple weeks. We'll start on the 12th with Tetris Forever for Xbox One Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. There's a lot of things releasing on the 14th, an absurd amount of things releasing on the 14th. And none of it looks interesting. On the I was going to say the 15th, but there was nothing there. On the 19th, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for Xbox Series X. in Stray for the Switch. On the 20th, Stalker 2, here, Heart of Chernobyl, or yeah, Heart of Chernobyl for Xbox Series X, and Genshin Impact for Xbox Series X. On the 21st, Total War Empire for Android and iOS. On the 22nd, it's Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics for PlayStation 4 and Switch. And I'm out of interesting releases. Because that's it. There is nothing, folks. We are in some dreadful times. Yeah, you got anything else?
No.
All right then. Tomorrow it's something. A thing of game variety.
It depending on how I feel, we might try that dungeon again. I don't know though.
we went 3 hours, just the two of us, on a thing that's designed for 3 people. I honestly feel like if we had a third, we probably would have got it.
We would have burned through it.
Because I think a third's damage output would have meant we probably could have 2-cycled it with a third. I feel like, because we got the boss fairly low with just the 2 of us on like 2 rounds. I think 3 of us would have destroyed it. Next Thursday, I continue Valkyria Chronicles. Maybe I can get more than basically 1 chapter done, because while the game says I did 2 chapters, it only feels like I did 1 chapter this week because of how long the maps were. Next Friday it will be something.
If Destiny's not, well, it'll probably be something Destiny one way or the other, regardless of what we do tomorrow.
Yep. And next Saturday, we end off the mini trilogy of Drive content with the Kamen Rider Yungo miniseries. So we can find out that why is Mach not dead anymore when we get back to Drive episodes, since he technically died. But yeah, but between now and then, if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Shipping away that affiliate go. !social in chat gives you the handles for all of our socials. And !Discord in chat gives us those sort of things. Drop by, say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.